A dangerous python snake was sent to kill Pastor Jerry EZE, but what happened next was shocking. Have you ever heard of a snake showing up where it shouldn't, with a mission that no one could explain? This is the true story of the day. Pastor Jerry EZE faced a life-threatening encounter that left everyone speechless. Before we get into it, make sure you like this video and subscribe, because what you're about to hear will keep you on the edge of your seat. It all began on a quiet morning in Umuahia. Pastor Jerry EZE had just finished his early prayers at the altar. The church compound was still, the air heavy with the fresh scent of dew on the grass. Everything felt normal, until the groundsman noticed something unusual near the back fence. It was a trail, thick, winding, and fresh. He froze, staring at the ground because he knew that mark. It was the path of a python. But this was no ordinary python. Witnesses later described it as massive, easily over 15 feet long, its body glistening with moisture as it moved silently through the church compound. No one had seen a snake that size in that area before. Fear gripped the staff. Some shouted for help, others ran to find sticks and machetes, but the python had disappeared behind the small prayer garden near the altar. Moments later, a scream tore through the air. One of the cleaners, a young woman, had spotted the python coiled around the base of a tree, its head raised, eyes fixed toward the church hall. It wasn't moving to escape. It wasn't even hunting like a normal snake. It was waiting, almost as if it had a purpose. By the time Pastor Jerry was informed, the compound was in chaos. Members of the church who had come for morning prayers were panicking. Some urged him to leave the premises immediately, but he refused. Instead, he walked toward the area where the python was last seen. Witnesses said that the moment he approached, the snake emerged again, sliding into the open, its tongue flicking in and out, the scales catching the sunlight. And then something strange happened. Instead of striking at anyone else, the python began slithering straight toward Pastor Jerry. People screamed for him to run. Men tried to block its path with sticks, but the snake ignored them, moving as though drawn to him. It was then that some of the elders whispered that this was no coincidence. Rumors began to swirl. Someone had sent the snake. As the giant python inched closer, Pastor Jerry lifted his hands and began to pray. His voice was steady, his eyes locked on the approaching danger. Witnesses later swore that the snake paused, its body tensing, head swaying slightly like it was confused. But the moment someone tried to attack it from the side, the python snapped violently, its jaws clamping down on the stick with bone-crushing force. The scene was terrifying. The snake's body was thick enough to crush a man, and yet it returned its focus to the pastor. Step by step, it crept closer. Some people fell to their knees, praying in fear, while others ran for safety, and then the python suddenly stopped just a few feet away. Its massive head hovered inches from the ground, its eyes fixed on Pastor Jerry. Silence gripped the compound. The pastor continued praying, his voice rising louder. Those who were there said they felt the ground tremble slightly beneath them as the snake's body shifted. And then, without warning, the python twisted violently, turning away from him. It slithered rapidly toward the fence, moving faster than anyone expected. Men grabbed sticks and tried to block its escape, but the snake sprang forward with terrifying speed, smashing through a weak spot in the fence and vanishing into the nearby bush. But the story doesn't end there. Later that day, local snake catchers and hunters were called to search the area. Hours passed before they finally found the python deep in the forest. It was lying motionless as if lifeless. What shocked everyone was what they discovered next. Around its neck was a strange red cloth tied tightly like a charm. The elders gasped, recognizing it immediately. It was a fetish object, often used in local rituals to send dangerous animals as messengers of death. The snake was captured and the charm removed. As soon as they untied it, the python gave a final twitch and died. Many believed it had been supernaturally sent to end the life of the pastor, but something, whether faith, prayer, or divine intervention, had stopped it. When the news spread, hundreds of people flocked to the church to see the massive snake and the strange charm. Even those who doubted the story were left speechless at the sight. It became a testimony of protection that shook the entire community. To this day, many still talk about that morning. The trail of the python, the way it locked its gaze on Pastor Jerry, and how it turned away without touching him remain unforgettable. Whether it was a test of faith or an act of dark intent, one thing is